everyone, a huge thank you to all the new subscribers and to anyone who's just clicking on this video. My name is Marian Guevara, and today I'll be doing a physical media haul, basically showing you some of the physical media that I've picked up or accumulated over the months that have passed. So I'm first going to start off with some of the films that I have picked up. Some you may have seen, some you have not, but ones that I'm pretty excited about. So the first title that I have to show you, you might have already seen in my Then, Now, Later update video, and that is The Man Who Laughs, which is the 1928 silent film based off of the Victor Hugo novel. This one was released by Flicker Alley, which is a company that is completely new to me. Solid release, great transfer, has a nice little booklet, has a reversible cover. This is actually the reversible cover. I chose to showcase like the old poster version of it. So yeah, really cool stuff. Just thrilled that there was a copy of this film that I could watch at my leisure. So yeah, if you haven't watched The Man Who Laughs, I highly recommend it. I go in more in depth on the film and why I adore it so much in my Then, Now, Later update video. But yeah, I highly recommend. So a while back, Barnes & Noble was having a 50% off Arrow Video collection sale, and I managed to get two titles. They were the two titles that I wanted. And so the first one was Pulse. This came out in 2001 and was directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, who also directed Cure from 1997, which was actually released by the Criterion Collection. Now, when I found out that the same director did Pulse, I was very interested because I really enjoyed Cure. And this was part of sort of like the J horror scene at the time in the early 2000s. And I believe this has to do, I guess, similar with Ringu with The Ring, sort of dealing with the horrors of like the burgeoning social media at the time, mainly the internet. That's all I know about this film, but I'm very excited. I do want to get more into Japanese horror. So yeah, Pulse. The next title that I got, it is actually a double dip, but I don't care. It's one of my favorite films, and that is Crimson Peak, directed by Guillermo del Toro. I was so thrilled about this film when it first came out. Like, I dragged my friends to the theaters to watch with me because it was so right up my alley. It was like gothic horror romance. It had Tom Hiddleston in it. And then I saw the film. And while the film itself, like the plot wasn't really like pretty standard, I feel like kind of predictable, I still enjoyed it. The performances, the design, oh god, especially of the ghosts, just Allerdale Hall, the setting, it was just so sumptuous and gothic. Really great. Crimson Peak didn't get much accolades when it came out, but it's getting a lot of physical media love, which I really appreciate. The next film that I have here is another double dip, but it's one of my personal favorites again, and that is The Babadook. And this is the Scream Factory special edition, where it is a standard Blu-ray. However, you know, it comes with this gorgeous slip that's meant to resemble the picture book in the film. And then if you open it up, you get a little, you know, pop-up of Mr. Babadook. So if it's in a word or if it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. So yeah, really enjoy that. Next is a pickup from my local Books A Million. They do have a secondhand section where you can get secondhand books, DVDs, and so I managed to get a copy of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Walt Disney Signature Collection. I always wanted to own Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's not my favorite Disney film, but I especially appreciate it for its role in film history. And yeah, I do want to own it in physical media. I'd rather just own all the Disney films I adore on physical media rather than just getting a Disney Plus. I have no plans on getting a Disney Plus. But yeah, I was very pleased to have found this in really good condition, sealed, at my local Books A Million. And what's great is that they were having a buy one, get one free. So I got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but I also got Sleepy Hollow. So I basically got Sleepy Hollow for free. Now this is the 1999 film, Tim Burton film, that is based off of, you know, Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So I have seen this film way back. I remember when Blockbuster was still around, and I was going through the aisles. I wanted a scary film, and I saw, Sleepy Hollow, and I picked it up thinking I was getting a straight up horror film. And then I watched it, and then I realized there are some funny bits in here. I need to rewatch this. I actually put on a poll on my Instagram, and people said that this needs to be my next watch, and I think it's perfect for the spooky season. So those were all the films that I picked up or accumulated over the months, and now we move on to the next section of this physical media haul, and that is the vinyl records. Yes, I've started collecting vinyl records. Now, I don't consider myself like a, serious collector. I'm basically just going to be getting mainly soundtracks, of films or anything else that I really love. So yeah, I think we're just gonna start off with the one that started it all, and that is Crimson Peak. So this was released by Waxwork Records. And Waxwork Records is a company that mainly focuses on releasing horror movie soundtracks, which is right up my alley. Although they do branch out beyond horror movies, like they've done Barbie, they've done Taxi Driver, they've done Kong Skull Island, but they mainly do horror movie soundtracks. And this was the first time that Crimson Peak has been pressed on vinyl. You have, the Red Ghost on the front. On the back is the track list with Edith and then Allerdale Hall. And then it is a gatefold. So you get the bathroom scene. And it is stunning. By the way, the art was done by Jeremy Pallier, or Pallier. I know he's a French watercolor artist. And this one is a 2 LP, so there are 2 records in here. And this is the regular variant, the regular pressing. I know that subscribers get a different one, but this is called Ice Blue and Red Clay, and I'll show you what it looks like. Gorgeous. Just absolutely stunning. The soundtrack was done by Fernando Velasquez, and it's a great soundtrack. It really matches the mood, the tone of the film, very gothic, very sumptuous. This is number 99. This is like their 99th release, I believe. And I am so glad I picked up a copy because this is now sold out on the website. So if you want to get this, you're going to have to either wait if they repress, or you have to get it secondhand. But yeah, so happy to have gotten this. So the second vinyl I have to show you is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. So this one I actually did not order from a site. This one I got in Barnes & Noble because, they do have vinyl records over there. Now, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, for those who don't know, is a 1983 film starring David Bowie. It's a historical war drama that takes place in Japanese-occupied Java in a POW camp. So David Bowie is playing a British officer in this POW camp, and then the Japanese officer opposite him is played by Ryuichi Sakamoto, who actually did the soundtrack to this film. Now, I have not yet watched this film, but I have listened to the soundtrack extensively. Here's the cover, and then here's the back. And it is a gatefold, although it's just 1 LP. And this is it says Barnes & Noble exclusive translucent orange. So it looks like this. And then the next record to show you is the only album done by an artist, a band, and that is The Now Now by the Gorillaz. This came out back when I was in college, and I remember listening to it a lot. And my favorite songs here, Suk Eye, Kansas, Lake Zurich, I really enjoy. Fireflies, it's just a lot, but Suk Eye is my favorite. So yeah, it's definitely considered one of their more mellow albums. The thing is with Gorillaz is that their albums just sound so different from one another. So we have 2D on the front man, the guy on the keys, and then we have the band members on the back. So you got 2D, Noodle, Russell, and funny enough, for those who don't know, I'm going to drop some Gorillaz lore for you. Murdoch Nichols is the actual bass player of, he's the bass player for Gorillaz. However, in their album previous to this, he was arrested. So the Gorillaz needed to find a new bass player to sort of replace him for the time being. And they got Ace, who you might remember as the leader of the Gang Green Gang from Powerpuff Girls. So it's been established that Gorillaz takes place in the same universe as the Powerpuff Girls. So yeah, that character became the bass player for Gorillaz. So the next two records that I have here to show you are very different from the other ones. They're considered spoken word. So if you know audiobooks, that's basically what these are, except that they're just pressed on vinyl with some ambient score in the background. These are released by Cadabra Records, and they specialize in releasing vinyls with narrations of various different classic horror stories. They do a lot of Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, Algernon Blackwood, they've done Arthur Machen, so on and so forth. I managed to snag two, and these are pretty hard to get. I'm probably not going to get a lot of Cadabra Records. But anyway, here's the first one. Now this has 3 H.P. Lovecraft stories. So you got Dagon on one side, well, Dagon and the Cats of Ulthar, and then on the other side you have the music of Erich Zann. So that's the cover. This is the back, just gorgeous, high quality records. And it does come with an insert where you have, another image of the cover. Just look at this art, man. It's just gorgeous. And then you have little info on the narrator and the one who does the score. And then, of course, you get a picture of H.P. Lovecraft himself. So that's the insert. And then this one is the pressing variant that I got is called White with Black Swirl. So let's just show you that. And then this one I also got off of eBay, but I won it on an auction, and that is The Great God Pan by Arthur Machen. So The Great God Pan is my favorite short story from him. Actually, it's actually one of my favorite short stories, I'm not gonna lie. This is a chunky 3 LP. So it opens like this. So you got Arthur Machen here. More cool illustration. Oh, it's gonna be hard to maneuver this. And then just more little write-ups. But yep, cool. And this is, I believe, I don't know if it's a subscriber variant, but it is the translucent gold or pale gold with black and brown splatter. Lastly, we have my most recent addition to my vinyl record collection, and that is the long-awaited Corpse Bride soundtrack. Now, before this reissue, the only other time you can get Corpse Bride on vinyl was like back in 2005 when the film came out. That was the only other time the soundtrack was pressed on vinyl. And yeah, it's been 18 years, and now it finally got a repress, a reissue. This was done by Real Gone Music. That's the front, which is like the cover of the DVD, and then you have a screenshot in the back with the tracks and everything. Now it is not a gatefold, unfortunately. This is basically like a 1-for-1 like repress of the original, because the original was just a single jacket. It did have 2 LPs, and it did have the same full colored insert on the back. This is, like I said, 2 LP, and it's pressed on milky clear. On their website, it's called Moonlit Vinyl. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Corpse Bride was like one of my childhood films. I absolutely love the music. I love how it's such a varied soundtrack. It is Danny Elfman. It's the brilliance of Danny Elfman. So you have some jazz, you have some somber chamber music to it. My favorites here, Remains of the Day is amazing. The piano duet, great. But yeah, just so happy to have finally gotten Corpse Bride. So yeah, that was my physical media haul. Thank you all for watching, and please let me know, have you seen or are you interested in any of the films that I showed you? Are you into vinyl records? And if so, what music do you own in vinyl records? And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!